Okay, so today I'm going to tell you something about apostrophe S that you have not been ready for, and this will blow your mind. Typically, we add it, apostrophe S, when you mean possession. John, okay, John's car. When you have two names, you put apostrophe S at the end of the whole phrase. This is Mary and John's car. You have five names, doesn't matter. This is Mary, John, Matthew, Paul's car at the end of the phrase. If it's plural, you already have the S, so you only put an apostrophe. My parents' car, right? But what if a name finishes in an S, right? Like Niles. So here you have a couple of options. Option one, you can still do the apostrophe S, in which case you have Niles's car. Option number two, you can only do the apostrophe because the S is already there. In which case you have two other options. You can still read it either Niles's car or Niles' car. Even though you don't have the other S, you still read it Niles's car. So now that begs one final question. What exactly determines whether we have to do the additional S or is maybe just an apostrophe enough? Well, the rule is that with all the biblical, historical, old-fashioned names, such as, for example, Jesus or Pythagoras, you wouldn't add the extra S, right? Just the apostrophe. But you still will most likely read it like, for example, Pythagoras' theorem, Jesus' teachings, even though you don't see because you don't have another S. Mind-blowing kinda, innit? Okay, so let me add a little caveat to what I said a couple of days ago when I did the video about the possessive S. So we already know John's car, John and Mary's car, my parents' car, Jesus' teachings, Pythagoras' theorem, right? But what if it's not a person? What if it's a table or a book? Are you also allowed to use a possessive S in an expression, for example, a book's cover or a table's leg, or our presentation's conclusions? Yes, we can, even though some books might tell you that you should say something like a leg of a table, so with the of, but that's, to be honest, bullshit. Everybody says otherwise. So a book's cover, presentations, conclusions, a table's leg, our tomorrow's meeting, yesterday's adventure, all of them are perfectly fine and okay. At the very end, we could also add three more situations when apostrophe S is by far okay. It's locations, for example, London's architecture, Paris's streets. It's compound nouns, for example, my mother-in-law's purse. Kind of like, using apostrophe S at the end of the longer phrase, like John and Mary's cafe is kind of the same, innit? And number three, time expressions. For example, I need a good night's sleep after a hard day's work, the Beatles. It's been a hard day's night. So there we go. Now, I believe we kind of have, don't we, a full picture of the apostrophe S, Saxon genitive, possessive S in English.